Hello, and I'd like to welcome you all once again to the old schoolhouse here in the hamlet of Butterstone in Perthshire in Scotland for another wee half an hour. It's been, I've had a hectic week, to be honest with you, and the weather's been absolutely horrible. It's been kind of rain, a little rain and wind, and but anyway. Before I start, I'm going to tell a wee story about what happened this week, because I finally, those of you who watch the show will know that I've been trying to build up a kind of outside broadcast kind of thing. I take some stuff up to the island of Lewis, but I'm trying to make it very mobile so that during the summer I can do some broadcasts from outside somewhere, interesting places, you know. But when I was in my shed this afternoon, this week, and I got this phone call from my 11-year-old grandson, Callum, who helps us up here. He says, Grandad, you're live on the internet." You know. And while I was doing it, I had pressed a button by accident, which actually had started streaming from the inside of my garage. And while I was trying to set up the stuff. So those of you who saw it, that's what happened. It was a bit terrifying, actually, to realise how quickly that can happen. But there was a bit of a laugh, and Callum had a good laugh at it, you know. And could you please welcome to the stage the wonderful Tatty Faces, who are going to be accompanying me with their usual virtuosity. And I'm going to start off with this wee song, which is a request. I've got my wee request sheet here. So this is a song I wrote for my great-great-uncle Fergus, who was a crofter fisherman on the west coast of the island of Mull, where my MacLean side of my family all come from. And it's a wee song about the sea. And this was for Ross Smith in Dalkeith, who requested this. It's near Edinburgh. And also for Tim Halliday, who has a birthday today. And his wife requested another song, but I'm not going to do that. So... they're from Cheshire, and but it's his birthday. So happy birthday, Tim! And this is my wee song, "Ready for the Storm." Here we go. Crashing and the tide pulls out. It's an angry sea, but there is no doubt that the lighthouse will keep shining out to warn the lonely sailor. And the lightning strikes and the wind cuts cold through the sailor's bones to the sailor's soul, till there's nothing left that he can hold except a rolling ocean. Oh, but I am ready for the storm. Yes, sir, ready. I am ready for the storm. I'm ready for the storm. Every confrontation seems to tell me what it really means to be this lonely sailor. But when the sky begins to clear, the sun it melts away my fear. I'll cry a silent weary tear for those that need to love me. Oh, but I am ready for the storm. Yes, sir, ready. I am ready for the storm. I'm ready for the storm. Distance, it is no real friend, and time will take its time, but you will find that in the end it brings you me, the lonely sailor. And when the sky begins to clear and the sun it melts away my fear, I'll cry a silent weary tear for those that need to love me. Oh, but I am ready for the storm. Yes, sir, ready. I am ready for the storm. Yes, sir, ready. I am ready for the storm. I'm ready for the storm. Thank you very much, and that's my wee song, Ready for the Storm, about my great uncle Fergus. And I'm going to continue with a song about bad weather. And this is for the Global Choir, and you've all done this with me before, and it was requested, so I thought I would do it. It's been a wee while since I've done it. And the chorus is dead easy. You sing, will you hear me if I'm calling on this wild and windy night? Will you catch me if I'm falling on this wild and windy night? And it's my version of the kind of night visiting song, you know, which there are lots of, nearly every culture has got these kind of night visiting songs. So this is my version of it. Will you hear me if I'm calling on this wild and windy night? Will you catch me if I'm falling on this wild and windy night? So, okay. We'll do the chorus a couple of times. Oh, I'm just going to have a wee mouthful of this too. I've got a bit of a cold. Starting, so I'll have a wee mouthful of my medicine. And here's what you sing. Will you hear me if I'm calling on this wild and windy night? Will you catch me if I'm falling on this wild and windy night? It's easy, so it's very easy. So let's get a wee Global Choir vibe happening in the old school. There's just me and Jenny in the old school tonight, so let's get a wee bit of a wild and windy vibe happening. Global Choir, wild and windy vibe happening. Here we go. Will you hear me if I'm calling on this wild and windy night? Will you catch me if I'm falling on this wild and windy night? Beautiful. When I may lose my way back home, lose the signs that I've been shown, wander helpless through the storm, all alone. Will you hear me if I'm calling on this wild and windy night? Will you catch me if I'm falling on this wild and windy night? When I may lose the sense to run, finish what I've not begun, fading with the winter sun, everything undone. Will you hear me if I'm calling on this wild and windy night? Will you catch me if I'm falling on this wild and windy night? When I may lose the sense to dream, for nothing is the way it seems, and all the places I have been, forever unseen. Make a bit of noise, go on. Will you hear me if I'm calling on this wild and windy night? Will you catch me if I'm falling on this wild and windy night? This is where the Global Choir sing it on your own. Make a bit of global noise here. Here we go. Will you hear? Fantastic. It's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. fantastic. I can just kind of visualize, I can visualize somebody's on the beach with their phone singing away, somebody's in the kitchen washing the dishes with their iPad sitting on the windowsill, and somebody's sitting in a great big lounge room with a big giant telly, all singing away. Go on. We'll do it one more time. Oh yeah, go on your own. Will you hear? When nothing ever comes, the fear out of sight, but always near, waiting for the sky to clear, I will disappear. Here we go. Will you hear me if I'm calling on this wild windy night? Will you catch me if I'm falling on this wild and windy night? One last time. Will you hear me if I'm calling on this wild and windy night? Will you catch me if I'm falling on this wild and windy night? On this wild and windy night. Well done, well done, well done, well done. We're getting good at that one, aren't we? We're getting good. The Global Choir's getting good at that one. One day we'll all get together and we'll be able to sing it somewhere. But Evie, that's my wee song, Wild and Windy Night, and that was requested by, let me just get my wee request sheet here. Can I try and do as many requests as I possibly can? That was requested for Ed and Marion Giles from Portland, Washington. Now, I've spent a bit of time in Portland over the years and did a number of concerts up there. It's a fantastic part of the world, amazing part of the world. I'm just going to change guitars here and do this wee song, which this is. I've done this before, actually. It was one of the songs that I wrote when it's probably one of the very first songs I ever wrote, or one of the first ones that I ever kind of performed. I used to do it in the folk club that we used to have in Blairgowrie, and oh, my thing's just come off my guitar. That's, you'll just have to bear with me while I do a little guitar repair here. The little thing has just come off, and we don't want the guitar falling all over the floor, so that'll do for that'll do for one song, I'm sure. Yeah, so it's one of my very early songs, and it was by doing these broadcasts that I started to sing some of these really old early songs that I'd kind of really forgotten about, and I really do. But it was requested, so I'm going to do it. It was requested by Lorraine Gilmer in Christchurch in New Zealand. Hi, Lorraine. Lorraine's a regular. One of the original members of the Global Choir, I'm sure. It's called Till Tomorrow, and let's see how we go on with this. Just a swig of this. So here we go. lift up your glass to tomorrow. Say your own sad farewells for today. But how can parting be such a sweet sorrow when you can't find the right words to say? Oh, I can see I will have to be moving. I've been standing out here for too long, but I know all the friends I'll be losing, I will see them again further on. There's a time when crying comes easy, when there's more to be lost than be won. And I know that tomorrow might see me on the other side of the sun. And I've been looking in every direction for the places that I used to know, but on making a closer inspection, I noticed I didn't know which way to go. So we'll finish our glasses together, and we know we can no longer hide, and the silence will linger forever. It is there and it helps you decide that it's not as it seemed in the stories that you made when you wanted to dream. So you pick up your pieces before you find out that you might have been left in between. Thank you very much, and that's my wee song till tomorrow. And I think it's always great to sing, because whenever I sing songs like that, I go back and I'm kind of revisiting the wee 18-year-old that wrote it, you know. And I would love to be able to go back there and say, you know that wee song you've just written? Well, one day you'll be singing it and it'll be getting broadcast all over the planet. You know, it would have been quite a spectacular, it would have been mind-boggling, that. Anyway, I'm going to finish off with another wee chorus song for the Global Choir. And I just grab another guitar. I've got 3 different tunings on the go tonight, so I'll grab the other guitar. And these are my beautiful Jimmy Moon guitars They made by a wonderful guitar maker in Glasgow called Jimmy Moon. And I've played all kinds of guitars over my life, but I wanted to have Scottish guitars. So this is a signature model that me and Jimmy put together, and I don't know if you can see the kind of little Pictish symbols that are on there, the Scottish Pictish symbols and things and that. And so it's great. It's kind of it's a Scottish guitar, and made for the climate over here, you know. But now this song was requested by Blaine Edwards from Winnipeg in Canada. Winnipeg. Now, I've been to Winnipeg a few times. I played at the Winnipeg Festival a couple of times, I think, over the years. It's a great part of the country. I loved it over there. Anyway, this is a wee song that I wrote for a friend of mine who had a farm just down outside the Butterstone here, down at Airntully, actually where Jamie lives. And he was confiding in me that he wanted to look after the farm with the same care, and you know, he wanted to, because his father had worked the farm and his grandfather had worked his farm, and he wished that he could look after the land the same way as his grandfather had looked after it, but because of kind of modern agricultural demands, he was having to put all this fertilizer and stuff on the fields and stuff and that. Anyway, to escape, to get away from it all, sometimes he'd go and climb mountains. And sometimes he'd take me, and it was, but I remember at this time, he arrived at the door of the house in the car, and we headed off away up to Glencoe, which is way up, the big mountains up in Glencoe. And I became a bit suspicious when we stopped at the bottom of a mountain called the Buccleuch of Moher, which is a big mountain. And he opened up the trunk of the car, the boot of the car, and I became even more suspicious when I saw all the ropes and shackles and things and that. And he said, because normally we just go for a kind of little kind of hill walk, but he says, oh, we thought we would try something a little bit more adventurous today. He says, you'll be fine. He says, what I'll do is, he says, I'll climb up I'll secure the rope to a rock, and then you'll come climbing up after with the rope tied on, and I'll be feeding up the rope, and you'll be completely safe. And I've got vertigo. I mean, really, it's a silly thing for me to be doing. Anyway, we did this for about an hour. He would go 100 meters up, and it would be, okay. And then I'd climb up with the rope, and then he'd go on the way up again. But about an hour into the climb, we were up in the mist, into the clouds, and he would disappear away up into the clouds, and it would be this, okay. And this time, I'm hanging on by my fingernails on these little crevices, and just managing to get up, and I managed to pull myself up onto the ledge where he was. And there he was, the bold boy, sitting having a cigarette, and the rope was just coiled on the ledge. It wasn't even tied on to anything. And he says, "Oh, I knew you'd be okay." You know what I mean? I'm going, cool. But it's amazing the things you can do when you think you're safe. You know. Anyway, I wrote this song, and the chorus that you sing is, rescue me on this mountain's the only place I can see clearly." Of time buried the ways the others have grown, though sturdy and strong, his voices entwined with each new unknown, and though it's for screams in the night, he's a servant of the seasons and the morning's early light. The troubled one, he says, rescue me. He says, rescue me on this mountain's the only place I can see clearly. Rescue sing, global choir, and we got that, we'll do it again. We've got this, we sing on. He says, rescue me. Says, rescue me on this mountain's the only place I can see clearly. Rescue me. Says, rescue me on this mountain's the only place I can see clearly. He says, rescue me. And see these guilty hands envenom the soil, take the life from his fields. But now these book-reddened eyes have discovered the truth and what it conceals. And though it's for the air that he screams in the night, he's a servant of the seasons and the morning's early light. And the troubled one, he says, rescue me. He says, rescue me on this mountain's the only place I can see clearly. Rescue me. He says, rescue me on this mountain's the only place I can see clearly. He says, rescue me. So this is where you sing it on your own, global choir. Are you ready? Just imagine you're up the Bucklet of Moor. Okay. Here we go. He says, beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. I think it's so gorgeous we'll do it again. We're getting a real good rural vibe here in the old schoolhouse tonight. Here we go. He says, so the plough it will turn, and our hearts they will burn, for sair work's nae easy. But oh, the circle stone and this bars are dying, and this great unknown, oh, it goes on to the distance of time. And though it's for the air that we scream in the night, we're servants of the seasons and the morning's early light. And the troubled ones, they say, rescue me. They say, rescue me from this mountain's the only place I can see clearly. Rescue me. They say, rescue me from this mountain's the only place I can see clearly. They say, rescue me. Thank you very much, and that's my wee song, Rescue Me, and that brings us to the end of our wee half an hour Saturday night here. Something strange happened to the lights there. I don't know quite happened, but it was verging on being a wee bit disco. But anyway, thank you for joining us. I hope you're all looking after each other, and hope you're all staying cheery and managing to keep a tatty-faced smile in these very confusing times and worrying times. Now, this last little announcement to make that next week is our ticketed show, which is a 1 hour ticketed show, and I usually show a couple of little of my wee documentaries during that, and it's the show that manages to kind of keep the wheels of all this kind of operation kind of oiled. And so if you buy a ticket for that show, it means that we can do the free shows, and then people who can't afford to have a ticket can still get to join in with the music and our wee theatre here in the old Schoolhouse. So you can get the tickets now, and you get them from DougieMacLeanLive.com. And you watch it on that as well. It's not it doesn't go out on Facebook or YouTube like the free ones do. So you watch it on there as well. And we're trying to improve that all the time. My wee head gets spinning sometimes with the technology. You know, I mean, I'm quite good with computers and that set of technology, and that's how we're able to do all this. But it can make your head spin a wee bit sometimes, and that's why I have to get out into the garden and plant a few vegetables. And the tatty faces have been funny. Since I planted the potatoes, they've been out there every day seeing if the tatties are coming through. But I keep saying to them, it'll be a few weeks before we see any kind of results from our potatoes growing. But they've been out every day, anyway, so it's our wee spring ticketed special, and it's Saturday, April the 25th at 9 p.m. And it's live 304. So thank you very much for joining us. Hope you've had a bit of fun. I hope you have a great weekend. Sorry it's a Friday night again, but I'm going to a concert tomorrow night. My daughter sings in a classical choir, and she's having a concert up in Perthshire, which is about 10 miles from here. And I don't think my life would be worth living if I didn't go up go up and see the concert. So. And you can still get tickets for that if you live in the Perthshire area. They're a great choir. They're great bunch of just local folk that sing, but they sing classical stuff. It's quite spectacular what they actually managed to achieve. So anyway, night. You all take care. Thanks to Jen. Thanks to the Tatty Faces, and I'll see some of you next weekend. Bye.